Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. It's your girl, the Brooke Ashley, and today we are here to discuss The Real Housewives of Miami, Season 4, Episode 2. Yeah, I know, I'm on a roll today, okay? I was like, you know what, why not get both these episodes up and out? So, another good episode. Again, the ladies of Miami are understanding the assignment, and I am here for it. So, with all that being said, let's just jump right on into this recap because we don't have a minute to spare. We start off this episode right where we left off last episode. Alexia, Marisol, and Alexia's assistant are awaiting Herman's alleged lover to text back. While they're waiting for the alleged lover to text back, they are stalking his Instagram page. And I could not stop laughing when Marisol was like, oh, he's handsome and he got a big penis. It looks like Herman was doing better than you. Now, I was really annoyed that Bravo blurred out his face because I was dying to see what he looked like. But it seems like he's a good-looking man. He has a very nice body, like a six-pack. He has muscles. Like, he looks good. So I'm assuming that he's cute in the face. Marisol and Alexia both said that he was a very handsome man. So I guess we'll see the day that Alexia and the lover end up meeting up. So now the moment that they've all been waiting for, Alexia's assistant gets the text back and they're like, oh my gosh. Marisol is freaking out. She's like, Alexia, are you sure that you want to go through with this? Are you sure that you want to meet with him? Like, especially before your wedding. Alexia assures her that it is now or never. And I understand where Alexia is coming from. Nobody wants to bring old baggage in to a new situation. Alexia does not have the best track record when it comes to marriages. This will be her third marriage and her third husband. And I understand the urgency on her part for her to want to just put this to bed. I think that Alexia will feel a lot better. She'll have the truth and she'll be at ease. Now we move on to the next scene with Larsa. She's at home talking to her assistant and she's discussing her OnlyFans. Larsa has now started selling feet pics and they're making her a ton of money. She says that she feels like she's in a relationship with like 2,200 people and she's really liking it. She goes on to say how she had no idea that she would like OnlyFans so much. When she first thought about it, she felt like it didn't align with her brand. But then when she saw other celebs doing it, she was like, you know what? Why not? So now we see a little montage of all the celebrities who are on OnlyFans. Blac Chyna's on OnlyFans. And then we see that she makes an estimated $20 million a month. I said, that can't be right. Really? Is she making $20 million a month off OnlyFans? I could see 20,000 a month or even 200,000 a month, but 20 million a month? I was like, I think production is exaggerating. I don't think she's making $20 million a month off OnlyFans. I feel like I would have heard about that. I don't know, y'all. Were they right with that? I was like, that can't be correct. I was confused. And then they said that Tyga is making $7 million a month. I was like, is he? Maybe $7 million a year from it, but I don't think he's making $7 million a month. Y'all, let me know. She goes on to say that she feels so good single and how she felt like she was trapped in a box when she was married to Scotty. I personally feel like Larsa felt stifled because she got married so young. I think she got married at like 21, and Scotty is a lot older than her. So I think that that's why she feels like she was trapped in a box. And actually, that might be the reason why she seems so emotionally stunted. I don't know. There's a very immature quality about her. But anyhow, she's just going on and on about how the men are loving her feet pictures and videos. Then she tells her assistant that she was talking to this one correctional officer in Minnesota and he was having a bad day. So she sent him a picture of her feet and it made his day all better. I said, well, look at you doing a good deed. Listen, I'm not here to knock anybody's hustle or knock anybody's kink, okay? So God bless everybody. So now we jump to Lisa and Lenny. They're celebrating Lenny's 55th birthday at Prime 112. And Prime is one of my favorite restaurants in Miami. I feel like it's everybody's favorite. Like, let's just be real. But Always a must when I'm there. But anyhow, as they sit down, Lisa spots Larsa on a date. So Lisa's like, what are the odds that we would see Larsa here? So here's where things get really awkward. Lisa wishes her husband a happy 56th birthday. He's looking at her like, no, I'm actually 55. Like, don't try to sit up here and age me, okay? So it's really awkward and tense. Lenny seems like he's in a really bad mood. He's talking about how it's all downhill from here and how he doesn't like getting old. And then Lisa's like, okay, babe, but like, we've been together for 14 years. Like, isn't that amazing? And he's like, 14 years? That's a really long time to be with one person. I felt really sad for Lisa because she was really trying, and here her husband is just like being a jackass. Then we see Lenny make a really sarcastic comment saying that he's the only one who could put up with her. And she's like, wow, like, you know, thanks. Like, really? And I was like, that right there is a no for me. I'm all for joking around. But when you're saying one too many slick things to your spouse, that's a warning sign. I feel like don't be disrespectful. And especially since y'all are on national TV, you know the cameras are rolling. Why would you disrespect your wife like that? So now Lisa brings up the emotional affair in her confessional, and she says that because she has all of Lenny's passwords to his phone, his computers, and iPads and everything, she knows for a fact that nothing got physical between him and the other woman that he was having an emotional affair with. I said, Lisa, have you met men? That man could have had another phone that you knew nothing about. So please don't kid yourself and think that it was only emotional. There's a very good chance that he might have slept with this other woman too. And Lisa, you had to quickly eat your words because in the next breath you said, well, you know, I don't know 100% for sure, but I will say that I forgive and I forget. If you're going to forgive him and wipe the slate clean, then just do that. But to be delusional and say, well, nothing happened, don't kid yourself. Lisa says to Lenny, babe, I'm just so happy that we still have that spark. Like, don't you think that we have that spark? And he's like, yeah, totally. Now, when he said, yeah, totally, it wasn't too convincing to me. And this scene was very painful to watch because it just seems like Lisa is trying to convince herself and everybody else that she and her husband are happily married when it seems like it's the complete opposite. And then when Lisa says, you know what, I took my vows seriously and it's for better or for worse, and I forgive my husband and we're back on track and we're happier than ever and things are great. It was like, who are you trying to convince? Yourself or us? Because I'm not buying it. I'm just not. I think that Lisa is really trying to put on for the cameras that everything is okay. It's apparent that Lisa still is not over the emotional affair. Just watching that, I was like, see, this is why I could never take somebody back from cheating. Because the fact that I would still be thinking about it, I'd still be getting upset about it. Like, no, I'd rather just shout out to everybody, I had fun.
Oh! Shout out to everybody, I had fun.
I gotta be good.
You know, if you want somebody else, that's fine. But I'm going to see myself out because I'm not going to stay where I'm not wanted. And I would be damned if somebody like Lenny had me questioning my self-esteem and self-worth. I don't think so. Lisa sis, God bless. That's all I got. But I was just shaking my head during that entire scene because you can tell that there's clearly some disconnect. They're still not over a lot of things. And I just did not like his demeanor at dinner. I was like, oh no, you do not talk to your wife like that. Like, some things are not jokes. Like, I just, a mess. Now we move on to a short scene with Gertie. Remember that Gertie is the newest housewife and she is a top event planner in Miami. So Gertie is married to a firefighter and her husband Russell is her high school sweetheart. She tells a story about how she used to see him in the hallway. He wouldn't say hi to her. And one day she got tired of it and she made him say hi to her. And on that day, not only did he say hi, he gave her a hug. And she said from that moment on, she knew that he was the one. So, baby, we find out that she was supposed to go to NYU, and because he was going to a local school, she decided to go to the same local school as him. I mean, I guess that's sweet, but to miss out on a fabulous experience of living in New York and being away from home, I just don't know. I feel like you guys couldn't have reconnected later on in life. I mean, listen, obviously it's worked out. They're married now for, I think she said 26 years, so it is what it is. But anyhow, Gertie lets us know that she and her husband work like all the time. They have opposite schedules, and on top of that, they have 2 sons, a 13-year-old and an 8-year-old. She says that raising a teenager is no fun, all the hormones, the moodiness, the attitude, so it's just like a little crazy. Can I be super honest? Gertie seems really nice, but I'm getting a little bit of boring vibes from her. I don't know if she's gonna give what the girls said she was supposed to have gave, but I just don't feel like she's gonna be interesting. I'm gonna give Gertie until episode 5 or 6 to really just wow me. But so far, she does seem very nice, but I need a bit more than nice. You feel me? Now we move on to see Adriana and Julia. They're meeting up at a storage unit because Julia's wife, Martina, likes to paint. And she has all this fabulous artwork in this storage unit. And because Adriana is an art dealer, she wants to throw an art show for Martina. Adriana says that being an art dealer for so many years, she saw the best collections all over the world, and she feels like Martina has some real talent and originality. So now, while her and Julia are talking, they're getting a little bit close to each other, and the conversation is turning flirtatious. Adriana goes on to say that her relationship with Julia is very complex. It's a very deep love they have for each other. They have a certain je ne sais quoi. And so I was like, Adriana, I understand that you might like Julia. There might be some attraction there, but tread lightly because sis is with somebody else. So I suggest that you find somebody else who's single, okay? And side note, what does Adriana do for her money? Because I remember in those earlier seasons, she was broke season 1, and then when she got with Frederick, she was finally, okay with some money. But between the hiatus of Miami being off the air and then now, how has she been surviving? Because when she pulled up to that storage unit with that Rolls-Royce truck, I said, oh, I need that. Like, girl, what are you doing? What have you been up to? Let me know. Because I want a Rolls-Royce truck too. Now we jump over to Alexia and Todd having a date night. Alexia says that she is just so in love with Todd. He's her soulmate, he's her equal, and never in a million years did she ever think that she would be with an American man. She says that Cuban men are fun, but they make terrible husbands. We also find out that Todd is in commercial real estate, and on top of that, he's 6 years younger than her. Alexia says, thank God he likes older women. And it's so funny because I would have never guessed that Todd was younger than Alexia. I thought that they were the same age, to be honest with you. So when she said that, I was like, oh, like, okay. While everything is great between her and Todd, things between Todd and her oldest son, Peter, aren't great at all. She says that Peter got his real estate license, he was working with Todd for a little while, and then a really nasty incident happened, and it changed the relationship, and they no longer speak. So she's really upset by that, and she just hopes that Todd and Peter can get their relationship back on track. Now, I don't know what it is about Alexia's oldest son, but it seems like he is always getting into something. So when I heard that Peter and her soon-to-be husband don't get along, I wasn't that surprised. Now we move on to a short scene with Dr. Nicole and her partner Anthony. Anthony's saying that he wants to look at a new Bugatti, and I want to know, what type of law does Anthony practice? because it seems like he has a very long coin. Dr. Nicole, if you won't marry him, let me stop it. So Dr. Nicole lets us know in her confessional that when she first met Anthony, she wasn't feeling him. She says that while she wasn't initially wowed by him, she did eventually grow to like him a lot, and they've been together for 6 years now. So now we see Dr. Nicole say that she wants to have a sushi and sake night with the girls and all their men. So Anthony's super excited. He's like, yeah, sounds good. When I tell you, I would have been at that party with bells on, because there is nothing like some delicious sushi. Some spicy tuna, some shrimp tempura, some eel and avocado. Stop playing with me. Like, stop playing. My mouth is watering as we speak, so I need to stop. And I love a sake bomb too. Sake will have you done. Like, after you've been drinking some other stuff, then you have some sake too. Stop playing. All right. But I digress. So while Dr. Nicole wants to have this party, she's a little bit nervous because she doesn't want to deal with the ladies questioning them about their relationship. She's like, the only thing I'm worried about is them asking us when we're going to get married or how long we've been married. And I hate when people ask us that. Anthony says, it's really no big deal because I just said that you're my wife. So here's my thing. I know that everybody is different, but I know for me, Brooke, you calling me your wife when there is no ring on my finger or marriage license, we would have an issue. Like, no. You guys both claim that you don't want to get married, that everything is fine. So if everything is all good, then why do you refer to her as your wife if you don't have any intentions on making her your wife? I'm just saying. And this is no judgment. This is no shade. I'm not saying that people have to get married, but it's kind of like you might as well if you're referring to her as your spouse, right? No, yes. Am I crazy? Am I overthinking this? But I just said, okay. If they like it, I love it. But you just want to be calling me your wife if there's no, if this finger isn't iced out. Okay, there's no David Yurman or Cartier on this finger. Stop playing. But I see that Dr. Nicole's going to drag this will they or won't they get married storyline out to the bitter end. And I'm not looking forward to it. Dr. Nicole is cute till like episode 7, but then we're going to need to see something else. I'm just saying. Now we jump over to see Alexia having a lunch date with her son Peter. Now remember how Alexia already told us that there's some tension between her son and Todd. And she's trying to bridge the gap because she really wants Peter's blessing to walk her down the aisle. So Peter arrives to the restaurant. They're making some small talk. You can just tell that they're both kind of walking on eggshells with each other. Alexia informs us that her son got married, moved to France, and now he's back living in Miami, and he's now going through a divorce. Like I said, her son always has something going on. Like, always. So now the topic of Alexia's wedding comes up, and Peter doesn't seem excited about it at all. He doesn't even call it a wedding, he's calling it a celebration, and Alexia looks really hurt. So now she's telling him how she would just love to have both of her sons walk her down the aisle, and he's like, girl, that's not gonna happen. Like, you can have one of your uncles and Frankie walk you down, but it's not gonna be me. So now Alexia's like, look, Peter, we're all in a really bad situation because of this whole incident between you and Todd. I'm the one in the middle. How do you think that I feel? And on top of that, you need to learn how to be more forgiving. So now Peter starts asking when the wedding is, and she says right before your birthday. So now he's like, oh, really? Well, that's funny because I'm going to be in Tokyo, so I probably won't even be here for your wedding. So Alexia is really upset, and she's like, look, I just want your blessing about this whole thing, and I really want you to walk me down the aisle. He's just looking at her like, no can do, mom. And Alexia, I hate to say it, but you might have to take this L on the chin, and you might have to just have this wedding despite your son not wanting to be there or walk you down the aisle. You're not this 25-year-old bride who's getting married for the first time. You're a 50-something-year-old woman getting married for the third time. Like, enough. Your son is not a baby. He's not a child. I'm really curious to see how this all plays out throughout the season. We do see in the trailer that Peter and Todd do talk eventually, and it seems like it goes left. So I don't really see them ever having a good relationship. A mess. So now we move on to Dr. Nicole's sushi and sake party, and everything is decorated beautifully. Like, her house looks amazing, just chef's kiss, okay? All the women arrive. Gertie says that she's super close to Nicole, and they've been friends for a number of years now. Larsa arrives, and of course, she has to be super annoying and irritating as always. She's freaked out by the woman dressed as a geisha, and she's like, I don't like it. Like, she's staring at you the whole time, just creeps me out. I'm like, of course you would say that. There's just a very immature and a very tacky quality about Larsa. It's just frustrating to watch. It's like she has nothing in her head. And of course, Larsa has to be an instigator, and she brings up how Marisol and Gertie's friend Kiki got into it at her house for her hot girl summer party. So now Marisol's like, you know what, Kiki, can we talk for a few minutes? So they go to the side and they hash everything out. Marisol says, look, yes, I can be over the top at times, but it doesn't come from a bad place. And I just want to let you know that I don't dislike you at all. So now Kiki says, I want to apologize to you because I'm a bit fragile right now. I just broke off my engagement, so that's why I'm kind of just all over the place. Now, like I had said in my last recap, I think that Kiki is the same person I'm thinking of, where she has a big social media following and she was with a very wealthy gentleman and something happened and yeah, they're no longer together. But very sad. Breakups are always very hard. But I could see why she really snapped on Marisol when Marisol was kind of insinuating that she was stupid. Now we see Lisa and Dr. Nicole talking. They're getting friendly with each other. Dr. Nicole says that she and Lisa's kids have had play dates together, and she likes Lisa a lot. She thinks that Lisa's very down to earth, very cool, very warm, and she looks forward to having a nice friendship. So while Lisa and Nicole are talking at the table, we see Alexia, Marisol, and the rest of the other women around Anthony. Now, mind you, none of the other husbands came to this party, so Anthony's the only guy there. So now Alexia keeps bothering Anthony about when is he going to pop the question and make Dr. Nicole his wife. He's visibly uncomfortable. He's like, really, are we doing this? He's like, you know what, it's fine. I already refer to her as my wife. It's pretty much official. Everything is great. So why change it? Alexia says in her confessional, she doesn't believe it. She thinks that they're both full of it. And she feels that deep down inside, every woman wants to be married. And she thinks that Nicole isn't being honest with herself. She goes on to say, well, if it's so great, then why not make it official? Alexia, I will say that I'm not buying what Dr. Nicole and Anthony are trying to sell us either. I feel like Dr. Nicole would like to be married to Anthony, but because he probably is dragging his feet or he doesn't want to be married again, I think that she's like, you know what, it's okay, I'm fine, and she's not trying to broach the subject. Now, I disagree with you saying that every woman wants to be married. Every woman does not have a burning desire to be married, okay? So I don't agree there, but I do agree with you with the if everything is so great and if he's already calling her, you know, his wife, then what's the holdup? And like I told you guys like 10 minutes ago, you're not calling me your wife and this is bare and there's no marriage license, okay? Like, so don't even try it. But Alexia, you've got to stop letting your judgmental side show up, especially at parties. I felt like it was a little bit in poor taste to keep prying and keep prodding about when are they going to get married. That's rude. You don't always have to say everything that you think. Just leave some stuff up here, okay? Like, at the end of the day, Alexia, you have your own stuff to worry about. So don't fixate on whether or not they're going to get married. So now we see Alexia go into one of the other rooms with Adriana and Marisol. She's telling them about the drama between Todd and Peter. And we finally understand what went down. Alexia says that it was a normal day, everything was fine. Peter was working for Todd at his real estate agency, and he came home and he was smoking like some weed. She says it was fine, not a big deal since it's legal. So she says that Peter gave Frankie some weed and he was smoking, and she said fine, it's cool. So child, while they were eating dinner, Frankie passes out at the dinner table. He lands right into his plate. So they're all freaking out. Peter had no idea that Frankie had smoked too much. He wasn't paying attention, and they had to call 911. So because of that, Todd was really angry at Peter, and he said some things that he shouldn't have said. So before we can even hear what Todd said to Peter, the episode's over, and all we see flash on our screens is to be continued. I said, you have got to be kidding me. But child, it sounds like they were this close to fighting. I just have a feeling that what he said to Peter, there's no coming back from it. But very scary situation. I know that Alexia was freaking out. I know that Peter was freaking out, especially since him and his brother are so close. And seeing that Frankie got into that bad accident when he was a teenager, I'm sure he must have felt really bad about, he gave his brother some weed. Now his brother passes out. He's probably scared to death. Like, oh my gosh, I hope I didn't hurt my brother. So I'm sure that he felt a lot of guilt that night for that happening. But y'all, another fantastic episode. I'm excited to see what next week's episode is going to bring. If you aren't watching Miami, please get into it. I'm not just saying that. It's actually very good. But y'all, thank you so much for watching my recap. I hope you all enjoyed. And as always, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. And I will see you all later. Bye.